Though short in length, the wasteland assumes a modern shape of an epic. Greetings, you're hearing the voice of Asdimran on the assimilators. Let's discover why the wasteland is a modern epic. Introductory. The Wasteland is an epoch making poem written by an epoch making poet T.S. Eliot. The poem first appeared in 1922. The poem highlights the degradation of the values of the Western culture after the First Great War. The poem holds as much significance in English literature as it is often referred to as a modern epic, competing head to head with other epics like Homer's Iliad and Milton's Paradise Lost. Before discussing The Wasteland as a modern epic, first let us clear what exactly is an epic. An epic is a long narrative poem filled with the heroic deeds of the hero in the battlefield. War is a prime subject of an epic. For instance, in Paradise Lost, there is a battle between the forces of God and the forces of Satan. An epic contains elevated diction, begins from the middle of a story, has Homeric similes inside it, as well as the personages in an epic are of a high order, mostly taken from the history books. But The Wasteland is different. It does not hold the qualities of a generic epic. The diction used inside this poem is easy. Characters in this poem are not derived from history yet. It has a firm connection with the fierce history of the First Great War. Characters in this poem are the common people. There is no proper beginning of the story, and the narrator shifts from section to section, signifying the downfall of the scattered humanity. The Wasteland is a modern epic because it highlights modern problems, has many allusions to the classical literature as well as an outcome of a modernist outlook. Modern problems need modern epic. The Wasteland was written at a time when there was no space for the glorification of wars as is shown in all the epics. The war was still there, but through a different form. There was no man as an opponent for the other person. The war was with the inner shortcomings of the person, his moral frailty. The Wasteland depicts the moral downfall of the lost generation after the First World War. Love saw itself in the brazen hands of temporal lust, as shown in the loveless love-making scene narrated by Tiresias. Death by water, though its excess and dearness, is used as a symbol of the excessive use of human intellect for warfare. Similarly, the zombie-like creatures mentioned at the end of the first section shows loneliness and aimlessness, which is still a common problem of our age. Thus, the depiction of modern problems make The Wasteland a modern epic as it was necessary due to the change of time. References to classical literature and mythology. An epic is incomplete without references to the classical literature that came before it. For example, Paradise Lost has many references to Greek mythology, especially when the bulk of Satan is explained. Keeping the quote tradition, Eliot has used a large number of references to make his poem difficult intentionally. For instance, he has used the mythology of the Fisher King, who was trapped to fish in the Dull Lake, who is rescued by a knight who is in search of the Holy Grail. Eliot has used this myth to signify the importance of health over wealth. Moreover, the title of the first section, Burial of the Dead, is mythological, which is taken from the Anglican burial service, which is used to put the idea of the wasteland in motion. The third classical allusion is Tiresias, a blind prophet of Thebes who has been used as symbol of human consciousness and is the protagonist of this modern epic, an outcome of the modernist outlook. The wasteland is an outcome of Eliot's modernist outlook. Modernists are a group of writers who stood against the already established romantic as well as Victorian influence in literature, and they strived for something new, which according to them was a demand of the public at that time. As mentioned briefly in the heading, quote, modern problem need modern epic, a modernist approach was necessary to reinvent the classical genre of epic that was made for the public. Such a democratic approach is truly a fruit of modernism, but it must be noted that Eliot finds solace and solution to the modern problems through classical means like the adherence to the ancient Hindu values of Datta, the Yadvam, and the Metta, which mean give, sympathize, and control. Conclusion: The Wasteland is a true modern epic because it shows the downfall of the individuals in a democratic manner, while it gives solution to the modern issues in classical myth. Sources used for this video are now being displayed.